What's up, Nerdyverse? I'm Daddy Louie, and in this video, we are taking a look at a game called Animal Empire. So stick around. Before we get started, if you enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure that you subscribe for more content and hit that bell icon so you don't miss any future videos. Animal Empire is a 2019 funded Kickstarter. It is by Half Monster Games. It is for 2 to 8 players, really shines well at higher player counts, which we'll talk about more in a minute. It takes about 30 to 60 minutes to play based on how many players you have. And the developers have it listed as all ages. I think some younger players will struggle to play this game. However, if you did want to bring this game home to your family and to your younger kids, I think there's a couple of rules that you could omit in order to allow them to play. It's really not like anything I have ever played before. It really has the strategy of a chess game, like chess-like strategy, with an ability to kind of rule over your friends with this, kingdom builder, if you will. But is it good? Well, if you join me on the table, we'll check it out. All right, so one thing to note right off the bat is that the art in this game is absolutely gorgeous. The premise is you have these anthropomorphic kingdoms, and the first player to control 9 of the 16 kingdoms, so have a majority of the control, wins. So you have a little rule book. Once you understand the rules, you won't need to reference this again. It's pretty quick and easy to learn. It's just difficult to master, if you will. And I do wish that some of the army abilities and stuff were printed either on the back or on some reference cards, but that's not really a ginormous deal. Inside the box, there's some more gorgeous art. There's this cool dragon, and actually, if you lift the tray, let me get the cards out here. If you lift the tray up out of the box, he's lighting somebody on fire. That's pretty cool. But yeah, so the box is neat. I like actually how this box is made. And inside we have different cards that you will use to play the game. There's 4 different types of cards. So you have your army cards. These match the kingdom cards, so each kingdom has their own individual army. So you have these really cool animals turned human. Then there's some other different kinds of creatures too as well, but the art is just awesome. But it says the name of the army, the symbol, which again matches the kingdoms. I'll show you in a minute. And then each army has their own ability. Some are like attackers, some are defenders. Some can move twice or march twice, that kind of thing. Then you have your crown cards. Each player will get a crown. You'll get rid of the ones that you don't use. So in a 4-player game, you'll use 4 crowns. These ones will go back into the box. Then you have, your ability cards. Each player gets one of these at the start of the game. And they just have like some unique abilities that you can use throughout the game. You can also go into the woods, into the forest to gather another one. And then, of course, you have the kingdoms themselves. So, again, really beautiful art on these. It says the name of the kingdom, the symbol that matches the army, and then it actually has the ability on the card as well, on the kingdom card as well. And then there's just some flavor text underneath. This text here doesn't have anything to do with the game itself. But let me show you really quickly how to play, and then we'll talk about what makes this game so unique. Okay, so here I have set up for a 4-player game. Like I said, the game really shines at a higher player count. So even with 4 people, I still don't think it's as good as it would be if we had upwards of 8 people. Still a great game. The art is still, really, really fun. And I enjoy the game. Like I said, I think it's way, way more fun if you have more people, and you'll get a feeling for why in just a second. So Everybody starts with a crown card, one kingdom dealt out randomly. They also get one of these green ability cards as well, and then they get an army card to match whichever kingdom they start with. On your turn, you get 2 actions, but each army that you control can only do 1 action each, unless you have an ability or something that says otherwise. So basically what that means is on your first turn, because you only have 1 army, you're only going to get 1 action. So one of the actions that you can take is you can go to any one of these undiscovered kingdoms. That's really only the first thing that you can do on your first turn. So you just march to a kingdom and discover it. So discovering, you just flip it over. So this is an avian state, and you leave your army card there. And on the next turn, if nobody tries to push me off of this kingdom, I can spend an action to claim it, in which case I would get another army. So then everybody else goes around, and then when it comes back to me, like I said, no one has tried to push me off of here, which they really can't do because I have a defender ability, which I'll talk about in a minute. I would then be able to spend an action on my turn. This army comes back to my hand, and then I claim this kingdom. I would then go into the pile, find my avian state, my avian squadron here, and put that into my hand. And now I've got 2 kingdoms, and I'm on my way to winning the game. I only need 7 more, right? But now that I have a new army, I can use my second action to do something with this army. I can go discover something else. If another player has 2 armies, I can go and try and steal one, or if they have 2 kingdoms or more, I can try and steal one of their kingdoms. I can try and take their crown to make them a vassal. Again, I'll explain that in a minute. And those are the things that I can do on my turn. So I'm spending my actions, discovering new kingdoms, trying to claim them for myself, hoping that other players will not try and push me off of kingdoms or try and take back kingdoms that I steal from them or I get from the community pool. Another thing that I can do is I can go to into the woods, into the forest, and try and get another one of these green ability cards. So for an action, I would send, let's say, my avian squadron over here, and he would bring back a card for me. So that's another thing that you can do on your turn as well. All right, so we've talked about marching to discover kingdoms. We've talked about capturing those kingdoms. Let's talk about battling. So in the turn prior here, this Wolven Legion went and discovered this this kingdom right here. On his next turn, he's going to be able to capture that if uncontested. So what I can do is send my avian squadron over here and march him into battle to meet this guy. Now, I'll have to, unless I have an ability, I'll have to wait my next turn to attack him. But let's say he has sat out there for a turn and nothing has happened. I can then battle them. If one of my armies on a kingdom is also on a kingdom with another army, unless they have the defender ability, then I can spend an action to battle, which would then send him home, basically. And once I've sent him home, he cannot go out to another kingdom for the rest of his next turn. So that guy will have to chill at home. Okay, so this symbol here with the crossed swords, that's an attacker. If I have let's say I have my avian squadron here, the attackers can be played there, and it automatically sends the avian squadron back home. You don't have to spend an action to battle with attackers. Defenders, they cannot be forced to retreat by attackers. So it worked for the avian squadron, but if I had these my stone garrison guys here, the Wolven Legion would not be able to force the defenders to go away. They would need to have a special ability card to do that. There are also raiders. Raiders, after capturing a kingdom, they can immediately march to another free kingdom or enemy kingdom for free. Fleet to foot, which is this symbol here, they can actually march twice in the same turn. without spending an extra action to do that. And then Elder Dragons, they're ridiculous. I think there's only one in the deck. They have all of those abilities. So they have Attacker, Defender, Fleet to Foot, and Raider as well. So the last thing that we need to talk about is Vassals. That's the thing that makes this game really shine at more players. So we've talked about how to get kingdoms, but you can actually take kingdoms from other players as well. And the other thing that you can take from kingdoms is their crown. Now, if you take a player's crown and you capture it, you do it the same way that you would capturing a kingdom. You just basically have to battle uncontested, and then once nothing else is left to contest, you would then take their crown. That other player becomes your vassal. They're basically part of your army, and anything that they have, any kingdom that they have, counts towards your kingdom count. So it kind of forms this chain of command style thing. So the more players you have, the more opportunity that there is to capture people. And I think that's really kind of what the development team was going for, right? It was made for the vassal system was made for social interaction, which is why I feel like it's best played at higher player counts, because who doesn't want to rule over their friends, right? Everything else is fine. Like I said, if you're going to play with children, I would take the vassal system out completely, and I think they could play because all of these abilities and the actions are quite simple. But, take the vassal system out. Just don't have the ability to take people's crowns. Same thing with at lower player counts. Like at 2 players, you really can't rule over your person you're playing against. You know what I mean? So take that out at small player counts, take it out at younger children, and I think the game plays just fine. At high play counts, it plays even better because, like I said, who doesn't want to rule over their friends with that really neat vassal system? Anyway, that's it. That's everything that you need to know in order to play Animal Empire. Let's clean this up, and I'll give you my final thoughts. Animal Empire is a fun little game. It's very simple to learn, but very difficult to master. I do think that it plays better at higher player counts, but I've explained that already. It's not a bad game at 2 or 3 players. It's just more fun, especially with that vassal system built into it at higher player counts. I think that the game is even kind of more fun without the vassal system. Take it out completely at those lower player counts. You'll also want to take it out if you do want to play with younger kids or with unexperienced gamers, just the first few times, just so that they get used to the game. I also want to mention that this game is free on Tabletop Simulator and on Tabletopia. If you wanted to go and check it out, play it before you actually purchase it, the development team puts that out there for you guys. Also, there is a pen and paper RPG built in the same universe that this game is built into, which is really, really cool, because this universe, especially just looking at the art and the little lore pieces at the bottom of the kingdoms, is really, really cool. So I'm actually going to go and check that out myself because I'm a fan of pen and paper RPGs, and like I said, I think this universe is really cool. I will, as always, leave links to everything in the description below, and thank you to those guys for letting me check out this great game. What do you guys think of Animal Empire? Let me know down in the comments section below. I enjoy reading all of those and interacting with you guys. If you would like to see more of the Circle of Nerds, don't forget to check out all of our social media. We have Facebook, we have Twitter, we have Instagram, all at Circle of Nerds. Also, don't forget that we have a podcast that comes out every Wednesday called The Cosmic Disaster Show. You can find that right here on YouTube or anywhere that you enjoy listening to podcasts. We also have a Friday night live stream every Friday at 8:30 p.m. over on our Facebook page called Nerds on Ice. Definitely go and check that out. And for an extra bit of love and affection to us here at the Circle of Nerds, please consider checking us out over on Patreon at patreon.com/circleofnerds. Anyway, guys, that's all from me. I will see you in the next video.